This is the University of Otago.
This is David Hood from IT Training giving a demonstration of two specific uses of the Vlookup formula in Excel. This is using Excel 2013, but the same principles apply to any version of Excel. In the first example of Vlookup, I have marks, numeric information, and I want to provide grades, a category piece of information that goes with mark ranges. So I'm going to use a Vlookup formula to achieve that. And I'll use the insert function dialog box and I could type in Vlookup if it wasn't loaded from before, and go, and OK. And it gives me a dialog box as it does with Excel 2010 Windows. If you are using Excel Mac 2011 and have the formulas palette open, you'll get a dialog box. In 2016 for Mac or Windows, you'll get a sidebar window with this to put in. So lookup value is what am I looking up, and for each entry I'm looking up the mark. Table array is where am I looking at it, and for a numeric range, the thing that I'm looking up, in this case the mark range, needs to be at the left of the selected area. And I realise I wasn't clicked in the right dialog box, so this is the thing with the live demonstration. I will go back to lookup value, click in table array, and then reselect that, and possibly try more than once. So we've got the number I am looking up range in the left of the selected area. Not the left of the entire spreadsheet, just the selected area. Also, because it's a range, I'm starting from the minimum value that I'm looking for, and it is going up in steps. And it must be at least as big as the value on that line and no bigger than the value on the line behind, and then it will bring back that entry. So the values do need to be in ascending order. Column index number is the column index, the count of the column that I'm bringing back. The thing I'm looking up is column 1, the next column across is column 2, and so on, but in this case I just want the second of the two columns. And range lookup can be either true or false. And if I say true, means I'm not looking for exact matches, I'm looking for number ranges. Now, because Excel formulas work on a, from where I am at the moment, relative reference, shift as I shift the formula, I am going to do one more thing. I'm going to pin the table, the area that I'm looking up the answer in, into place by making sure that there are 4 dollar signs. But for each corner, letter and number of the rectangular area that it's looking in. And that means that as I shift the formula around, it always goes back to that area. So I click OK, that's the first one assigned, and just to show you, if I fill down, it assigns all of the ones except the 33, which was below the number range. So always make sure that your range incorporates the minimum and maximum in the data. You can also see that the 102 has produced an error. If there is an upper limit to your data, then you should probably do something like add 101 as an error, because it's impossible. And that way, if something is 101 or greater, you're going to get a message saying error over on the side. That would be a better plan. So I've used Vlookup to take a number, wander down the list. So in the case of 77, it goes down the list. Am I bigger than 60? Am I bigger than 65? Am I bigger than 75? Yes. Am I bigger than 80? No. So it stops at 75 and it brings back B+. The alternative is where I'm matching specific information. In this case, rather than looking for a range, I'm using the username, and I'm looking on a different sheet in the spreadsheet to look up for that username what group are they in, and combine that information into the original spreadsheet. So again, it's a VLOOKUP formula, and I put in the VLOOKUP, and it says, what are you looking up? In this case, the username for that row, table array, where are you looking it up? Now I can cross between tables in my spreadsheet here, and just making sure that because I'm looking up in the username, that's the left-hand end of the area I select. And the selection also includes the stuff that I'm bringing back. Now let's put the name of the sheet, exclamation mark, where on the sheet. Once again, I will get in there and make the references absolute for the corners of the rectangular area by putting dollar signs in front of each letter and number part. Column index number, what column is it bringing back? It's bringing back the third column, because there was that one in between that I didn't want. And range lookup is false. I don't want it finding the closest username, I only want it to find exactly matching usernames. I click OK, puts in that one, and if I fill down, it repeats it for each match that it can find. Where it cannot find a match, because it's not in the data, generates an error message.
This is the University of Otago.